Shabbat Shalom to everybody out there. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our Sabbath, our virtual Sabbath via Kingdom Building Institute. I'm your moderator, Dr. Kifa Ben Israel, Chief Apostle, Major Prophet into the body of Messiah, Archbishop in our Lord's Church. On whatever platform you're watching me, I want to thank you for being here today. It's always a blessing to be seen. It's a blessing to be heard. And it's also a blessing to be a part of something. This week has been a tremendous week of agony, pain, and suffering to all the families and the people that are connected to those that are in Afghanistan right now. Not only do our prayers go out to you, but we solicit prophetic sayings to you out there, because I'm here to tell you, if we ever needed Yahuwah in this hour, we need him real bad, especially with what's going on over there in Afghanistan. The withdrawal of the American troops over there is taking a tremendous toll. We're praying for the president, for our vice president, for the secretary of defense, the Pentagon, all the soldiers that are over there. And they had a bomb, I think it was yesterday. So there were several soldiers that lost their life, and we want to really pray for those families as much as possible, and be there for them, to let them know that we are truly there for you. We are there for you. Some of us may not even understand the pain that you're going through. And then some of us do understand the pain. But either way it go, we want you to know that we're there for you and that we're praying for you through this intrepid ordeal that is going on. I'm not getting political. I will never get political. I will never voice a political standpoint of view. I will only give the standpoint of view of the righteousness of human rights, which is the duty of us as ministers of the gospel, as carriers of the word of Yahuwah. It's not to be political, not to choose sides on politics. And I don't know how you can actually make it political, to be honest with you, because it's a human rights circumstance and situation. We're on the side of human rights, that side. Okay. If anybody's ever wondered about where I stand with a lot of different things, I stand on the side of what's right. I stand on the side of human rights, on the side of human decency, and all those type of things. That's where I stand. So I give all praise to the Most High on this day, this being his Sabbath. Truly, today is a great day because we're here breathing. We're here breathing, and we're enjoying the land. But I want to talk to you guys about how a lot of the wickedness that we are dealing with, how it got started and where it started from. Now, it's no secret that angels who were overzealous and probably real pushy have started this thing where they are just, they're so jealous of man. And it's really something to witness for yourself, how angelic beings can be jealous of mankind. I mean, literally, it's incredible how mankind can be the center of attention of angelic beings, but they are, they are. And that's one of the reason why the book of Enoch is so important. The book of Enoch really gives us a layout, not only about the prophecy, but about the plan that the fallen angels had or have for the earth realm. And it's a very dangerous one. And if you're not really careful, you'll get caught up in the realm or in the web of this tremendous propaganda, if you will, of that the false angels have produced because of their inability to convert man into evil. I mean, let's face the facts. When the fallen angels, when those that followed Hillel, because that was his name in heaven, Hillel, we're talking about the one that everybody likes to call Lucifer. His name was not Lucifer, his name was Hillel. And Hillel, being cast out of heaven, had a group of angels that were cast out with him. And that's the reason why we call them fallen angels. We don't call them fallen angels because of some in particular line or something like that, but we call them fallen angels because of the position that they were in when Hillel was kicked out of heaven. So he's, according to the Bible, he took a third of heaven with him, and that the angelic host, which we now like to term them as fallen angels. In some phrases, books, and Bibles, they call them watchers because that's what they are, watchers, messengers. The angels were designed and created to serve heaven and serve the image of heaven. That was the whole purpose and why the angels were created in the first place. They were created for the purpose of serving, such as the ministers of the gospel. They were inundated or created for the servitude. And I just really think it's interesting how we have elevated a lot of different things to proportions that it shouldn't be, with no biblical facts and no biblical basis with it. And with that being said, I'm not going to be with you very long because we're going to be coming back tomorrow afternoon with quite a bit of more information into this topic and subject about the fallen angels. You know, according to the book of Enoch, these fallen angels were very active in planning and plotting damnable things for man to be a part of. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to go to the book of Enoch in seven, chapter number 7 of the book of Enoch. For those of you that have access to the book of Enoch can be found online. All you have to do is type in the book of Enoch, and you'll find the book of Enoch in its entirety, as far as with all of what it is speaking of. You can find it online. Just type in the book of Enoch, and there are many PDF versions of the book of Enoch. Many. Um, let's see. Let's get busy with this thing just a little bit, because I am just I'm just, curious myself, because again, a lot of misinformation has went forth about the corruption of man. So let's go to the book of Enoch, chapter number 7. Let's start at verse number 1, and let's go there. Verse number 1, and it says, "And it happened after the sons of man had multiplied in those days, that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful at that." Verse number 2, "And when the watchers," we're talking about the angels, and in this case it would be the fallen angels, when the watchers, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, "Come, let us select for ourselves women from the prodigy of men, and let us beget children." Verse number 3, "Then their leader, Simijah, said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise." They had already made a pact with each other that they were going to infiltrate mankind. This was already a known thing amongst the captains of the guard. There was about 200 of them, of the fallen angels. They had said, yes, we're going to corrupt man, and we're going to have babies by them. We're going to take them through something. We're not going to give them a break. We're going to work them out the best way we know how to work them out. And we're going to corrupt them so that Yahuwah will not even want to be bothered with them. Abba Elohim will not even want to be bothered with man. Now, this plan almost worked. We see in Genesis, the 6th chapter, where Yahuwah himself was frustrated with mankind and created and told Noah to go out and create an ark because he was going to destroy the earth. He destroyed the earth because of the seed of these fallen angels, which are called Nephilim or Nephilim. There are three different phases of these Nephilim and Nephilim. I'm not going to really, I may get into it and show you exactly the three different phases of them. It depends on how far we get into the conversation. And it is really interesting when you get into this. Okay, here we go. There we go. In the book of Jubilees, it talks about the pre-flood watcher offspring, talking about the angels, the Nephilim or the Nephilim. You see that there are three tier of them. You have the giants, the Nephil, and the Eljo or Ejo. Eljo, Ejo. You know, some people say Ejo, some people say Eljo. But three different phases of them. And in Genesis, the 6th chapter, in the 4th verse, it tells us that the Nephilim were mighty and men of well renown, and their spirit was there before and after. So that means after the flood, they were still there. Now, these are the offspring and the seed of the fallen angel. Now, I'm still in the book of Enoch, and I'm still reading chapter number 7, but this gives us a vivid understanding, even from the book of Jubilees. It gives us a vivid understanding of the offspring of these fallen angels. You know, we like to say demons, and we call them demons because they're no longer associated with the grace of Yahuwah, but not because of traditional words. Because if you use traditional words, you still are going to say watchers or angels. They're just fallen angels. Hello, somebody. I'm going to do a teaching on that exclusively so that I can show people the difference in that so they won't be making the mistake that some people make. Now, there are three tier of Nephilim or Nephilim. As you can see, the giants, the Nephil, and then the Eljo. The three tiers. You go from size to knowledge and to ability. Size, the giants represent size. The Nephil represent the IQ or the wisdom, the knowledge of them, and the Eljo represents the ability of them. So we're still in the mode of them in the sake of seed spreading. They're still on this earth, according to what all the things that we have learned about them. Their spirit and the aptitude of them are still here. We're still dealing with the Nephilim, the seed of the Nephilim in the earth realm. Don't be deceived by some of the people you come in contact with, because a lot of the people that you come in contact with could be a seed of a Nephilim, could be a seed of the Nephilim or Nephilim. It's very possible. But the diabolical plan, which the first part of the plan worked, the diabolical plan was to impregnate man, to pollute the very image of Yahuwah. That was the plan. And they did it. They did it with no problem. No problem. And by them doing it the way they did it, my, you're talking about retribution or whichever way it go. Let's go to verse number 3. Excuse me, verse number 4 in this work. It says, and Simajah was talking in verse number 3, saying that he didn't think the other fallen angels were going to go through with the plan. He said, and that I alone shall suffer for for such a grievous crime. It is interesting how Simajah knew that what they were planning was against the will of Abba Father. He knew it. So he said, oh my, you're going to leave me to take the blame for all of this, for polluting man, for doing what I've done, dropping my seed everywhere. You're going to leave me in it. Oh, wow. Verse number 5. But they answered him and said, we all swear. Now, they may not all get along, and this is different when it comes down to the so-called saints of Yahuwah. We barely can get along. We can barely sit in one room together long enough to even praise him without some type of criticism or some type of backlash with the criticism. But here it is, the fallen angels who had already lost everything stayed dedicated to their plan, even though they may not have liked each other and they may not have understood the whole purpose and why each other was doing what they were doing. The plan was already set. The plan was already set. And it was really interesting how in the plan, Simajah was nervous and he said, wait a minute now, you guys are not going to do this. You're literally not going to do this. But then all of a sudden, they said, yeah, we swear we're going to do it. Verse number 6. And bind ourselves by mutual excretions, that we will not change our intentions, but execute our projected undertaking. Then verse number 7. Then they swore all together, and all bound themselves by mutual excretions. Their whole number, watch this, people, their whole number was 200 who descended upon Ardis, which is the top of the Mount Sharon or Sherman. Wow, that's interesting. And let me read verse number 8 because it's getting really interesting. That mountain, therefore, was called Sherman because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual excretions. The fallen angels started the process of the fall of man. It was their intention to corrupt man. We see today all of the problems that we're having domestic, socially, and politically. It just didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen through a president. It did not happen through a regime. It did not happen through a push of some great leader. It happened because of retribution by the fallen angels. Man is the test subject. Y'all don't like me now. Man is the test subject. Man has always been the test subject. And the thing is that we have to understand the Bible quotes that we are always being tested. We are tested by the trying of our faith. And if we know the word of Yahuwah through and through, and we know the exhortation of the word of Yahuwah, then there is no weapon that is formed against us that shall be able to prosper. No weapon. And not only no weapon, but there is no expectation too high for Yahuwah to pull us from, oh, y'all don't like me right now, that he cannot use our worst situation for our bad. Even though there was a bond built between those fallen angels, even though there was a pact made between them out of pure jealousy and out of corruption, what the devil has meant for bad, Yah has turned it around for good. What the devil has tried to propagate in the world, which is to show the deception of his non-existence. Some people have started realizing that only through divine purpose can this evil be propagated. They already know that man doesn't have a twisted mind enough for that. The only thing man can do is percolate himself into the beginning of those evil practices. But it is through divine help or divine twisting that we are seeing the inundation of this terror. That's where the word terror has found its origins, from the root, which is the word deception. There is a deceiving spirit that has crept into the earth realm and has led the earth to think that there are some enemies, when the enemy is not only enemies of failure, but there is an enemy inside of me. I have allowed myself to be intimidated, thus fueling the power of evil and its mission. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. Just like the fallen angels made a pact and they made children, an illegal act that was not constituted by heaven. They saw that women were fair and beautiful, and that is why us men need to protect our women. Oh, I'm going to go there. That's the reason why we've got to become the kings and the heads of our house like we need to be. That's the reason why we have to serve Yahuwah endlessly, without a shadow of a doubt, without wavering in our own parts, so that we can be the heads that we're supposed to be. You want to be a head? Then serve Yahuwah relentlessly. Let your wife and let your children see you crying out to the Most High. Let them see you submit to the will of Yahuwah. That's the reason why we don't see a lot of marriages in the holy sector stay together, because they were only built together out of force of rule and dominance, not because of love and compassion. It is the fallen angels that figured this thing out, and they gave women the gall to have children of supernatural means. Oh, somebody don't like me up in here. The Nephilim, the Nephil. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. The Nephil, the giant, the Nephil, and the Iljo. Those three different superior physical specimens. Three different superior physical specimens. Oh, y'all don't like me up in here. And their purpose was to knock the balance of the physical order of what Yahuwah had produced in the first place. Man, oh man. Evil had crept into the world and has continued to creep into the world, because we're dealing with the after or foreshadow of this evil. We're dealing with the foreshadow of this great evil. You can be all intelligent all you want to. The bottom line is that we've got some enemies in the camp. I don't want to be deep and super today, but I just want to let you know that we got some enemies in the camp. We got some wannabes in the camp. They don't even have full human DNA. Now, that's one thing when you're dealing with a uh, uh, human being that's mixed in a different culturistic flavor. That's different. But when you're talking about a DNA that is half human and half angel, man, you're dealing with a great violation according to the Spirit of Yahuwah. We are battling in this hour not only the fallen angel. Let me contest to you. We're not only fighting the fallen angel, but we are fighting the seed of the fallen angel. And because we're fighting the seed is carrying out the mission of the promise that the first set made in the beginning, which was to mix, to have a half breed, to have a hybrid race. Oh, y'all don't like me now. A hybrid race that has been created to be superior to the physical dynamics of mankind. To be superior to the physical dynamics of mankind. Some people say, I ain't found that in the Bible. Some people say, well, that's not in the Bible that I read. Well, yes, it is. It's in Genesis, the 6th chapter and the 4th verse. And then it carries into the book of Enoch, into chapter number 7, verses 1 through 8, where it tells us about the completion of the diabolical plan. A lot of people are intimidated by their physical disabilities. Let me go there with you. There's a lot of human beings that are intimidated by their physical disabilities, the inabilities to do certain things like walk, sit, crawl, one leg shorter than the other. And in my case, I have a blind right eye, and then my left eye is 75% enabled. Normally, through our emotions and through our actions, we have pity for ourselves. I don't know who I'm talking to today. We have pity for ourselves because of the mental disabilities and inabilities that we currently embark upon, because we were told that that is a disability. Well, even though on paper it may be a disability, the Spirit of the Most High told me to let you know that it makes you special. If there is something that they underestimate about you, that is something that they need to watch out for, because the inability of a limb can bring the strength of your spirit. The inability of your thinking can bring about a spiritual revelation. The inability of a limb, a physical part that has been too short or too long, just means that he's fit you for the battle and for the fight. Oh, I don't know who I'm speaking to on this particular broadcast tonight, but there is an inability and there is a disadvantage that has been placed around you, but it's going to be your advantage in the spirit. He is going to elevate you in your mind thinking. He is going to elevate your circumstance, if you will, to a victory. Oh, I feel good on this Sabbath. I don't know who I'm prophesying to, but you're getting the picture here, because you're about to be activated in your disability. You're about to take the disadvantage that the fallen angels thought they had on the earth realm and use it for the plentifulness of the advancement of your spiritual growth. You're about to grow higher than what you have ever done before. You are about to see greater than what you have ever saw before. Because he said, greater is he. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying to you. He's about to take the inner man. That's the reason why a lot of people don't believe in Yahuwah in the first place, because a lot of you are not allowing your disability to become your ability, because you're too busy feeling sorry for yourself and looking around and saying, pray for me, please. Please pray for me. When all you got to do is do like the Apostle Paul. He said he had a thorn in his flesh. He said he had a messenger from Satan, from Hasatan, that buffeted him. But he said that your grace is sufficient. We don't have to look at disadvantages or disabilities as an inability. Look at it as just as it is, an ability and an opportunity for Yahuwah to show his power. Look at it as a chance for him to come through in the clutch like never before. I'm encouraging somebody. Yes, we've been going through something as a nation, as a people, with the circumstances in Afghanistan. Even though it looks kind of messy, woo, how many of you know that Yahuwah can make some glory out of a mess? Even though it looks like we've lost a lot along the way, he said, oh, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. We're about to see a miracle on the world scene. I prophesy right now that we're about to see a miracle on the world scene. He is about to bring a message of not only hope, but a message of retribution. A message that will blow the naysayer like never before. A message that is going to constitute your IQ in a greater level. I believe in academia, and I believe that if we strengthen the mind, then the devil cannot mess with us. I believe that if we believe in the power of the academia of our mind, the acceleration of our being, I believe that he can take us to heights that we've never been before. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, yet has it entered into your heart what Yahuwah is going to do in this hour. He wants to use some of you prophetically to speak forth some things that nobody else would speak, but he can trust you. He's going to use your underestimation from people. In other words, he's going to take your disability and turn it into an ability. He's going to rearrange the circumstantial things of your mind, and he's going to blow your mind in this hour. I know it's been a rough and it's been a tough hour. It's been a real rough past few weeks for some of you, and you've been trying to understand which direction to go. But yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thy rod and thy staff, it comforts me in the time of trouble. Even though the fallen angels had a very concrete plan, a very solid plan, what the enemy has meant for the evil and the downfall of man, Yah is turning it around for the good. And he's turning it around so that we can understand it completely through all simplicity, not to complicate it, but to put it plain and simple. We win. He's going to build you. He's going to take your character, but you got to believe in his word. You've got to believe in his law, his commandments. You've got to believe in his perfection and his way. You can't be not teaching Torah and expect people to be civil. You got to give people a rule structure. That's the problem with a lot of people. There is no rule structure. Isn't it amazing how in that chapter's number 7 in the book of Enoch, how those fallen angels came together regardless of differences, and they swore together what they were going to do? That is what Yahuwah is calling for us to do right now, to come into a united front of one another so that we can understand where he wants us to be. Oh, y'all don't like me right now, but it's okay because he's calling for us to put aside the attitudes, put aside all the misunderstandings. We got to get in his word, somebody. If we're not on one accord, we can't produce miracles. If we're not on one accord, we can't produce the manifestation of his word. For this thing to work, we've got to get along. We've got to see eye to eye. We've got to see hermano to hermano. We've got to be able to bridge the gap. Bridge the gap of understanding. That's where Satan has us bound because we are not believers. We are unbelievers of his truth. It is time for the unbelievers to be cast out of the camp. That's right. The unbelievers. If you want to believe, fine. But if you don't want to believe, then move out of the way. Move out of the way and let somebody else come in that wants it, that needs it, that feeds off of it, that believes it, that can work something out. They can take their disability and make it an ability. You can stand by all you want to and be a victim to the circumstances, but I plan to turn my circumstances around. I plan to become a doer and not just a hearer. I plan to become a manifester and not just a projector. Y'all better hear what I'm saying to you. He's calling forth now for some tough love and some righteous ruling. One accord, people, one accord. I've always said that, and I always stand by that because if you're on one accord with me, we can do some great things. I believe in signs, wonders, and miracles, but I also believe that there are trickery. I believe that there is a great abundance of trickery and debauchery going on. I believe that the enemy thinks he has got people fooled into thinking that they're on your side. But oh, he's giving you the spirit of discernment tonight, and he's waking you up and he's allowing you to see the truth in their intentions. The ill will cast one such person from the camp, from the assembly. 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. We've got to understand that if you don't want to walk that way and you don't want to talk that way, then you can go. It's time to gird up, be like Gideon and slow and chop down the army sizably and interchangeably, to chop down the army so that we can build up an army of greatness through simple numbers. He's not doing fancy things right now. He's doing simple things. And I relate that with what's going on in Afghanistan because there's going to be a worldwide miracle. Even in the projection of the COVID-19, the Delta variant, and all these other things that have come up, there is about to be a breakthrough. There is about to be a breakthrough, and it's going to benefit the world. So let's not get stuck in our own little holes somewhere, but it's going to benefit the world, and he's about to move and shake something. If you don't believe what I'm saying to you, then you ought to see the things that he's doing. You ought to see the things that he is about to do. I told you I'm not going to be with you long tonight, but I need somebody to believe with me. If you believe what I'm saying to you, you don't know him. You don't know Christ. You don't know the Messiah. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity at this present time to accept him in your life. All things have failed and all things have went bad. So it's time for you to be accepted by him. If you believe me right now, I want you to say this prayer with me. Father, I have sinned and I've come short of your glory. And I don't know what to do, but I know that you have died for me. You shed your blood executioner style right there on a tree. And because you did that, Father, I believe in your son right now. What he's done, what he did for me. I believe that he died and he was buried for 3 days and he rose again with all power. And because he rose again with all power, he is about to do something even greater in my life. And I accept him as my Lord and my Savior. If you said that prayer, then technically you are what we call saved. But then you need to find somewhere where you can get technical training and teaching so that you can be activated in the spirit as into your future and into those things that you need for your life. You're welcome to subscribe to our page. If you're watching us on YouTube, all you have to do is subscribe to the page. You're on Kingdom Building Institute and Ministry page. All you have to do is hit subscribe and then hit the bell, and you'll get all the alerts and the teachings that we have coming up and the teachings that we have already have. Or if you're on Twitter, all you have to do, if you just brush by my page, which is Dr. Kifa Ben Israel, at Dr. Kifa Israel. All you have to do is just follow me, like and follow. And I guarantee you that you will enjoy the experience that you're about to come upon. We're here to try to build you up as much as possible in the spirit. We need your help financially. We're always in need of finances so that we can continue to do what we do. Nothing we do is free of charge. Everything we do, it costs. But we need your help. We know that in your heart, that the Holy Spirit has already predestined inside of your heart to help us. On the screen in the bottom part where my name is at, you can see the different ways of donation. The first way of donation is hitting the $sign, typing Chief Apostle Kifa. Kifa is spelled Kepha. That is through Cash App. Or you can go to PayPal, paypal.me/ capital K, capital ISREAL. Or you can go to what we call Venmo. All you have to do is just type in Kepha, Kepha /Israel, ISREAL in Venmo. We appreciate all of your donations and help because right now we are currently looking for people that would partner with us for at least about $1,000 a month. Yes, at least $1,000 a month. We need that and more to be able to do some of the things that we're trying to do to be able to help other people in other regions of the world and people right here in the region of the West Coast where we're at. We're about to be able to come to the East Coast and Midwest to try to connect with other ministries to do other things that are worthwhile. And we need your help. If you cannot sow $1,000, that's fine. Sow what you can because we need your money to help us to do what we need to do. The plea that I'm putting out here is a very strong plea. I know, because a lot of people don't like to give to ministries. A lot of people say, I'm not going to make a minister rich. That's all well and good and fine because you're not making me rich. What you're doing is helping me to enrich the land so that we can be able to conquer the enemy and do the right thing. That's what giving is all about. The principles of sowing and reaping are for real people. Seed time and harvest is a very real circumstance and situation. And all you have to do is just try him. And I guarantee you're going to see a blessing like never before. I am Dr. Kifa Ben Israel. I am chief apostle and major prophet unto the body of Messiah, Archbishop in our Lord's church. I head up and I'm the founder of Kingdom Building Institute and Ministries, which is based in Portland, Oregon. And I just thank you for the opportunity and the time that you have given me to be able to share with you on this Sabbath. I will be back again on tomorrow in the afternoon, 3 p.m. on the Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. on the Central Standard Time, and 12 noon on the Mountain and Pacific as we go forth like never before. I hope someone got a word from what we were just putting out there today. I pray that someone got a word and that they were manifested and they were enriched by this word, and they were manifested in a major way because there are signs, wonders, and miracles about to happen in your life. We rebuke the enemy that would try to come in and try to cause confusion in the minds of people. And we rebuke the enemy that would come in and tell you that your disability is not your ability, because your disability is your ability in this hour to make something happen. I love every last one of you, and I want to say Shabbat Shalom to you, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thank you for believing in what we do. We will be back again tomorrow. Shabbat Shalom.